everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kat and this is my first video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Victoria sponge. It's one of my favourite things to make and it's really simple and easy to do at home. Okay, so to start off, make sure you have the right equipment. You can use a stand mixer or a hand whisk or the traditional wooden spoon. Any of these work, but the wooden spoon is very time consuming and it takes a lot of effort. Also useful is a cake scraper. These are really good for scraping down the sides of the bowl when the mix goes up the sides. You'll also need 2 cake tins, sandwich tins with loose bottom, and greaseproof or baking parchment. I use baking parchment rather than greaseproof paper, just because you don't have to grease the top of it like you would have to with greaseproof paper to stop the cake sticking. I buy pre-cut baking parchment, but you can buy rolls of baking parchment from the supermarket and just trace around the bottom of the cake tin and cut it out and you're done. Ingredients wise, all you need is butter, eggs, caster sugar and self-raising flour. It's 225 grams of everything basically and 4 eggs. I start by weighing out the 225 grams of butter because you need it to soften, and cubing it as well to help with it softening so that it's easier to mix. Then 225 grams of caster sugar. I'm using golden caster sugar today. It doesn't matter if you use white caster sugar or golden caster sugar. Just with golden caster sugar you get a more caramelly colour, and that's the only difference, but either's fine. Self-raising flour, not plain flour, 225 grams of that as well. Also strawberry jam for in the middle because it's tasty. So let's get started. I put the oven on. It's at 160 degrees because it's fan oven. If you've not got a fan oven, it's just electric, it's 180 degrees centigrade, and or it's gas mark 4. I'm just gonna grease the tins. So to do that, I'm gonna use a piece of kitchen towel and sunflower oil. And I just turn it upside down, trying not to get it everywhere, and then greasing bottom and the sides of the tin and laying the baking parchment in it so it's stuck to the bottom. I'm going to do the same on the other tin and then start making the cake. Now that the cake's aligned and the oven's on, I'm going to start baking the cake. So I'm adding the butter into KitchenAid with the caster sugar. The beater in and off it goes. I'm going to go for a low setting at first just to incorporate it, and then gradually increase the speed until it's really light and fluffy. I'm just going to scrape down the beaters and the sides of the bowl just to make sure that it's all getting incorporated. When you see in recipe books that it says light and fluffy, you have to whisk it a lot longer than you expect it to. It visibly changes colour. It gets lighter the more air you put into it. That's what it means by fluffy, just a lot of air in it. This helps with everything along the way because it makes the eggs not curdle as easily. and makes for a lighter consistency and a flatter cake, which actually is a good thing. The cake rises, but evenly everywhere. And back on it goes. Okay, so I left that on full power for about 10 minutes and it's got visibly lighter. So I'm just going to take it out and show you. It's got quite a bit lighter than it was. And also there's more of it because there's more air as well. Onto the eggs, and I'm just going to crack them into this bowl and give them a little whisk with a fork. The reason it's 4 eggs is because 4 eggs is roughly 225 grams. So everything comes to be the same weight, roughly. If you want the perfect Victoria sandwich, then just weigh your eggs and then weigh everything as the same. You're looking for the eggs to pass easily through the fork, so you know that they're going to mix well. Once it's at that point, then you can add them into the cake mix. There we go, that's what you want, passing through the fork easily. Back to the sugar and butter mix, and I'm just going to start adding in the eggs really, really slowly. So I'm just going to drizzle a bit in, tiny amount, and whisk it up. I whisk it on a medium to high setting because you want to incorporate it really well, but you don't want it to fly everywhere either. I'm adding it in slowly so that it doesn't curdle. I'm just going to keep doing that until it's all incorporated, and then we can add the flour. Now that all the eggs are incorporated, I'm going to add in the flour. I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of flour at a time and fold it in. If you found earlier that your mixture did start to split or curdle, then just add in a spoonful of flour for every dollop of egg. Mine started to split just at the end, so I started using flour just at the end. But right now, I'm just going to add in the flour bit by bit and try and bring this all together. When a book says folding, this is what it means. It means sort of scooping it up and flipping it over. So making sure you get all of it in. The next thing I'm going to do is to check to see if it's at dropping consistency. Now, dropping consistency basically is you take it up on the spoon, give it a tap, and you count how long it takes to fall off the spoon. So, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 seconds is absolutely fine. If it was any more than that, then add a drop of water or a splash of milk, depending on which you prefer, until it gets to the point where it just drops off the spoon. Now I'm just going to transfer this into the greased cake tins and put it into the oven. So I've just spread that out so the whole base is covered, and I'm going to put that in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes. So I've just taken the cakes out of the oven. Now there are a few ways to check that cakes are cooked. The first is that it's starting to come away from the sides. The second is the colour, it's a nice golden brown. The third is with a skewer or a fork or a knife or whatever to put in the middle. If it comes out clean, as this one does, they're cooked. I'm just going to transfer them onto a wire rack and let them cool down before putting on some jam and sandwiching them together. Now that the cakes have had enough time to cool, I'm going to assemble them. So I'm going to take the slightly flatter looking one, although they should really be equally flat, and put it in the middle of a plate. Grab the jam and a spoon and just put a generous amount of jam on the top and just spread it around. I tried not to buy jam with lumps in because it's easier to spread. You don't end up with a surprise large amount of jam, but I just can't tell by the jar which is the jam with lumps in or not. And then when that's all spread out, just take the other bit, put it on top. You could sprinkle some icing sugar over the top. I think simple is good enough. Sharp knife to cut and a piece to try. Thank you for watching my video. Give it a like and a subscribe and leave a comment of what you'd like to see me bake next. Thanks, bye!